The dust is settled, and Bama is in the college football playoff. We're going to get into that. Big matchup against Oklahoma, the bracket, how things went in Atlanta. We'll touch on that and what the future for the Crimson Tide looks like, including a great recruiting class that Kalen DeBoer and company just inked last week. All that here on the Bama Tailgate Show. Like and subscribe. We're brought to you by Golden Moon Casino over at Pearl River Resort. In there is the Timeout Sports Lounge. That's a Vegas-style sports book where you can go and bet Bama, who, by the way, despite the way they played in Atlanta, is favorite against Oklahoma. How about that? Vegas knows something. All right, there he is, Mike Johnson. I'm Mick Gillespie. Good to see you, Mike. I know you being in Atlanta, you took one on the chin on Saturday, but before we get there, there's still a lot of good stuff going on in the world of Bama, and that includes being a favorite at Oklahoma to play the Sooners in a rematch. We never beat them in the regular season, but you know what? We don't do too bad against them in the postseason.
I got to tell you, I was wondering this question, and I've been holding it until this moment because I think you might know the answer, but maybe you don't. Has Bama ever played in the snow?
Do you know what's funny that you mentioned that? Because that was something that Cruz brought up too on a show. I'm sure that at some point they have to have, right, over the years somewhere, but I don't think, but
college football for so long was such a regional sport, you know,
yeah,
like it was very rare to like go out to the Rose Bowl or something. I mean, I know you did, but it was rare. And I don't know, man. I mean, maybe they traveled up north for a game, 50 plus years ago when Bear was coaching. I don't know, but I was wondering that. I was like, maybe Mick knows if they ever played in a snow game because obviously, had a long weekend at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, like you talked about, and have been kind of, since when the committee, I was actually in an elevator going up the press box yesterday when the committee came out with their rankings and put Bama in, and the vice president of communications for the Falcons met me at the top of the press box. He's an Oklahoma guy, and he was like, "Hey, man, see you in Norman." I was like, "Oh gosh." So. But yeah, I heard it was going to be cold. I heard it could possibly be snowy, and I was like, I don't know that there's any precedent for that when it comes to Alabama.
All right. I know the answer to this, and what I want to tell you is this. First off, is that I used to work for a guy when I was at the Crimson Tide Sports Network named Tom Roberts. Right, Tom?
Yeah, I know Tom.
Great, Tom. Great voice, right? So they'd always do like those videos like before the internet, like they were like CDs, like you could buy like the CD of like famous Bama moments.
Yeah,
and they would always start out like this. The year was 1964. It was the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans against the Ole Miss Rebels. That's where they played at Tulane Stadium. And the night before, a major snowstorm blew in to New Orleans, leaving snow on the field for Alabama and Ole Miss. While the game was not an iconic matchup, Tim Davis kicked 4 field goals in an Alabama win over the Rebels. Final score 12-7 in those treacherous, snowy conditions.
I mean, there's so much to take in here. First of all, Tulane Stadium. I think Tulane played at the Superdome until like 2 years ago after that. And also the fact that you played Ole Miss in a Sugar Bowl is like kind of hard to wrap your mind around when you think about the affiliations there. But yeah, nonetheless, man, that's good to know. And you won the last time you did it, evidently, if that is the last time you did it. So there you go.
According to AI, it's that's the answer.
Unfortunately, we've arrived at a time in our lives, Mick, where you kind of have to trust AI. It's just kind of we're here. We're here now.
That was my Tom Roberts voice.
Yeah.
Hello, Mick. When I used to work for him, I'd go in his office and sit there and talk to him.
Like, all the way back in 1961.
Like, I always loved him, man. He was just a great dude. Man, Crimson Tide Sports Network used to be so amazing. I mean, just Snake was on there. Tom Roberts was on there. Like Eli Gold had like that iconic like thing going.
Yeah.
Those were the days, man. But that was before that. I guess it would have been like a John Forney deal, right? 1964.
I have no idea. That's your forte, buddy.
Yeah. Well, we could get snow in Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah. And honestly, I like the matchup for Alabama. I know that sounds crazy to say after you lost him a month ago, but you played well. You just you didn't the turnovers and things like that ended up costing you the game. But you look at statistically, both columns, and it's not like you got ran out of the gym. You get a chance to make the return trip back up there, and I don't know, man. I just what are the odds that Oklahoma can beat you 3 times in a row playing a defensive brand of football? But kind of getting back into where Alabama is now, we've lost our identity here offensively, right? And of course, you played a good Georgia defense. They had a great game plan for you. That was my biggest thing, and that's my biggest concern going towards Oklahoma is what are you on offense?
Right.
And the interesting thing is, Mick, and I'll bring this up. I obviously cover the Atlanta Falcons on Sundays, and yesterday they played the Seattle Seahawks. Last year, they also played the Seattle Seahawks around the same time, middle of the season, and I wrote down a bunch of notes about the Falcons against the Seahawks. And, of course, the Seahawks offensive coordinator last year at this time was Ryan Grubb. And I had a bunch of notes written down, and it had stats for their previous game. They played the 49ers the week before they played the Atlanta Falcons. And I wrote down, cannot run the football, putting too much pressure on Geno Smith at the quarterback spot. If you stop DK Metcalf, you will have success. And, if you can force errant throws, you should be able to get some turnovers. Well, they were able to have some success, but I had the box score written down from the San Francisco 49ers game the week before, and it's Kenneth Walker, the running back who was having a good year for the Seahawks this year, had 14 carries and 32 yards the week before.
Jeez.
And Charbonnet, their other guy who's having a great year, had 5 carries for 20 yards against the 49ers last year in Ryan Grubb's offense. And Geno Smith in Ryan Grubb's offense last year against the 49ers was 30 of 52 for 300 yards and had 2 interceptions. And I was like, man, that sounds a lot like Ryan Grubb's offense at Alabama right now. You can't run the football with any of the running backs you put in there, and you put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and eventually he's going to turn the ball over and things are not going to go your way, even though the yardage might be pretty good week in and week out. And so it stinks, man. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about the game Saturday. You saw it. We knew that it would be an uphill climb. We knew that there was injuries, but I'd be disingenuous if I sat here and said this lack of running game is somehow an injury-related concern. This has been a concern the entire season, right? And it's just it just doesn't even seem real to think about Alabama having a run game concern. It's just never been our thing.
Right. -3 yards. But you got to remember, man, a lot of these, like Jam's out, Kevin Riley's out. Those were the 2 starters. Daniel Hill's hurt. AK Deer, I don't know what happened to Richard Young. And then AK Deer's like running the wrong plays. So like, okay, not only are you missing your blocks, but I go to hand the football to you and you're over here and I'm here. Right. So, yeah. I mean, that's tough. Parker Brailsford's your best offensive lineman. He's hurt. Then the guy backing him up is hurt. I mean, part of it is that, but look, they've struggled to run the ball anyway. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And Parker Brailsford, even in the lineup, got whooped a couple times up front. Like you said, he's hurt, he's dinged up. I just never in a million years would have thought you'd go into a game and, have -3 yards rushing, even with the way they score it with the quarterback statistics in college football. I just never saw that one coming. And it looked like early in the game they were going to try to commit to the run. Looked like they thought they might be able to find some space. Right. There was a couple of good runs here and there, honestly, in the first quarter. It was 5, 6, nothing earth-shattering, but I was like, okay, that's something to work with, getting a good surge. Josh Cuevas being out to me is just a massive, massive part of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, well, that's it, dude. That's where – because he's the guy that – he's Ty's security blanket. Yeah. They say Bernard's been hurt too. Like, there's a lot of guys. This schedule is really, really tough now. I mean, it just is. That's Notre Dame's at home crying that they didn't make it. if they would have played half the schedule that Alabama had played, they would have probably lost another game, or they would have been in the playoff. Like,
I don't want to get too far off topic here, but did you see the Caleb Downs interview? That was absolutely amazing.
yes,
where he's like, you get a couple weeks off here and there in the Big Ten. He's like, in the SEC, it doesn't work like that. And everybody in the SEC rejoiced, Mick. Everybody was like, thank you, God. Somebody is willing to go out there and say it that plays for Ohio State now. What we're all been thinking. And I'm with you, man. Notre Dame played, let's call it 3, maybe 4 difficult teams this year, and they lost 2 of them. You beat USC, which, that's here or there. And maybe you throw Pitt in there a little bit, although Pitt wasn't very good. I mean, they're the only other, I think, bowl-eligible team on Notre Dame's schedule. So, I don't know, man. I don't feel bad for Notre Dame in the least bit. I always feel like Notre Dame kind of turns their nose up at the rest of the college football world, and they, the NBC contract and the independent thing. And guess what, man? It didn't play into your favor this time. You didn't have the stakeholders involved in the situation that you usually have, and it got turned on you. You lost to Miami, and you ended up getting put up to bat against them, and you're not in the playoff. And I don't feel bad. You've been given.
How could you even
given the benefit of the doubt so many times in these situations? And I know people say that about Bama. I don't care. And Bama's more times than not proven to be correct, right? 2011, 2017. It just is what it is. Notre Dame, when they're given the benefit of the doubt, they fall flat on their face. So whatever, man. I don't feel bad for them. It is what it is. And Bama's in. They should have been in, based off everything that goes along with it. And Miami beat Notre Dame head up. I think you can argue that James Madison maybe shouldn't be in, or Tulane, but don't come at me about Bama.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't even – I thought the committee got it right.
Yeah, they did.
They set the precedence last year when they allowed SMU to get in. It didn't deserve it, playing a weak schedule with no wins. But, they lost their conference championship game. And then here's some of these same doofuses, some of these people – that are on talking college football have ESPN gives platforms to idiots. And that's why people don't respect ESPN anymore. That's why when you hear people, they're like, well, nobody really watches ESPN except the play-by-play. It's because ESPN loves to go out there and give platforms to people because it makes them feel good instead of putting people in those platforms that should be there, right? It's the fact that Chris Lowe doesn't even work there anymore and went to On3. You lost all your credibility. And some of these, it's like, just listening to her talk, and she's like, well, and then you go back and look at her tweet from last year, and it's like, well, SMU belongs in because they lost their champ. They were in the conference championship. Like, okay, you know what I'm talking about? It's like, okay. All right. Look, I don't even want to waste my time debating with you because it's obvious to me that you don't deserve your platform. I don't
even know exactly what you're talking about, but I've been having the conversation about Josina Anderson for the last couple of days. And the tweets she puts out about Shadur is just, it's over the top. It's just completely, I don't even know what we're doing here anymore, but I don't know.
I wonder why nobody respects him, man.
And the thing is, look, let me stop you there because I do think that they hit a home run when they brought in Nick Saban. I don't know what the financial.
Yeah, he's been great. I'm not talking about game day though.
I know. Herb Street and Saban to me have been so good. But yeah, you're right. There's too many people trying to do too much with that service. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, but it is crazy, man. It's turned into. And here's what I said earlier this morning. We were on the radio here in Atlanta. I said, look, don't let incompetence, try to talk you into the fact that there's some kind of conspiracy. Incompetence is the fact that they should have had Alabama in front of Notre Dame all along, and they should have had Miami in front of Notre Dame all along. That's not a conspiracy. They're not trying to create TV ratings. They just simply are incompetent to the point that they kind of got to the end and they looked at it and they go, it's really don't look very good. And then they finally get it right in the end, but it should have been that way the entire time for them. So,
well, I feel for Notre Dame because the truth of the matter is that they're one of the best 12 teams, but this isn't set up for that. I mean, we got to squeeze in James Madison, because it makes everybody feel good. They're a 21-point underdog. We got to slide Tulane in. Oh, they're the conference champ. They're like a 16-point underdog. Like, they don't belong in this at all. They just don't. If you're going with the best teams, but this is what we've set up. I say enlarge the tournament and just I'd rather have, and I've told you this before, at this point, I'd rather have a couple teams in that don't deserve it than have teams that deserve it not in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I fall in the 16. I'm curious to get your thoughts, because that's been kind of a raging point since noon yesterday, is getting 16 teams. I don't want 16 teams in so that you can get JMU and Tulane in. I don't need that. If you want to put 16 teams, cool. We'll have Notre Dame. We'll have Miami. We'll have, Duke or whoever the heck is the ACC champ. That's embarrassing for them. We'll have BYU. I mean, those are the teams that need it. I don't need you to go to 16 just to tell me that JMU needs to be the 16 seed. That's neither here nor there.
What do you think about them opting out? I mean, can you imagine that? Would Nick Saban have opted out of a game? Because
this has been tough for me, and I'm going to be real and transparent in what I say here. This has been tough for me. No, Nick Saban would not have opted out, and if any of the players would have wanted to opt out, he would have probably told them to kick rocks. But this is also a different day and age, and this is the reason that Nick Saban opted out of college football a couple of years ago, because they didn't want to deal with this kind of stuff. In a day and age where it is so important to keep all of your players out of the portal, where every kid at Notre Dame might be getting an offer for $200,000 more next year to transfer, and they have an agent and everything's under the table, maybe you have to. Maybe Marcus Freeman's players are like, dude, we don't want to play in this game. What's the point? Why don't we go home and be with our families for Christmas? And, Marcus Freeman, where in the past you're looking at it going, all right, well, this is 2 or 3 weeks to develop our team and, develop the younger players. He might be looking at it going, a lot of them are transferring, and I'll probably bring in some portal guys in those spots. Why do I need to develop these kids? So it's a moving target for me, and it's a hard question to answer, because I'm with you. I look at Saban and go, he'd have lost his mind. We'd have definitely been playing a bowl game. But he's not dealing with the same things. It's I don't want to call it apples and oranges, but it's not in the same realm. It's kind of like the NCAA forcing guys to have water breaks at training camp. Bear Bryant's probably going, hey man, these guys don't need water breaks. Water breaks. And Saban's going, well, look, dude, it's 2015. We kind of have to have water breaks. It's just one of those things. So I don't know, different era, different times, call for different things. And I'm trying not to be too hard on Notre Dame, but the player from 2008 in me is like, yeah, dude, go play that game. Did I want to play in the Sugar Bowl? No. Did I want to lose to Florida and go play Utah? Absolutely not. But we went down there and did it anyways, and we lost, and I got hurt. So there you go.
I wonder what the game is that they would have played. Like, I wonder which one it would have been, right?
Oh, I'm almost positive it would have been the Pop-Tarts that Georgia Tech's in.
Yeah. Like,
somebody told me today the Georgia Tech took their spot.
Really? The Pop-Tart Bowl. I mean, who doesn't want to play the Pop-Tart Bowl with 3 Pop-Tart mascots, and you get to eat one of them at the end of the game?
Imagine the amount of Pop-Tarts you get that week. It's out of control.
I mean, now we're to the point where we just opt out. Hey, we don't want to do this anymore. It didn't go our way. Don't you play football because you love playing football? Or am I crazy for saying that?
Again, that's not where we're at anymore, Mick. They don't play football because they love playing football. They play football because they're going to get $500,000 to sign on the dotted line and go to Notre Dame. I mean, it is what it is. It makes me sick, and it makes you sick, and probably a lot of our listeners right now sick. But it's a different set of circumstances, man. It sucks. It really does. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. It stinks.
That's like it's like I work in baseball during the summer, and every time there's like a drop of rain, these managers and players all want like a rain out, which means you got to play a doubleheader somewhere to make up for it, which sucks. Yeah. And I'm going, I mean, didn't you like start this because you love playing?
Right.
Like at this point, you're going to get half a night off because you've already been there all day and we've sat here through an hour and a half. Why not just finish?
Right. Why not go the distance at this point?
Yeah,
like,
right.
What are we really
don't
doing?
You love playing? But it's like,
Didn't
no.
You play, what did you used to call it? Cup ball, where you folded up a Gatorade cup and swatted it with your hand when it was a rain delay in a little league.
It's like, Why are we even here?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I mean, it's so funny to me to see this. I feel for Notre Dame. I really do. I think that honestly, if they were head to head with Bama, they'd be favored out in Vegas, and that they have a really good team and they've come on strong. But the bottom line is that they got to schedule better. You know, like when you look at them playing this ACC, hybrid schedule that they make up, they're the days of playing Navy and Boston College and Wake Forest. You got to play better teams, man.
All right,
go play
stop right
Big
there.
Ten.
Stop right
play
there.
SEC.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Let me, because I don't know if I agree with you here.
Okay.
What would have happened if they didn't go schedule Texas A&M? Right?
Oh, so you're saying that if they would have played like Cupcake U and won.
What if Texas doesn't go schedule Ohio State?
Yeah, you know what? I gotta agree with you. This is a problem that college football has, right?
That's what it's a balance, man. It's like you got to schedule tough teams, sure, but you also, when you schedule those tough teams, you have to win, or else it's really to the detriment of your program. If Notre Dame never schedules Texas A&M, which it's a flip of the coin as to whether or not Texas A&M was going to be that good this year, but if they never schedule that game and they go play, I don't know, Northwestern or whoever, I don't know. But go play one of those teams. You get a dub. You go 11-1, even with a loss to Miami, and you're in the playoff.
Yeah, right.
You know what? You bring up a good point.
I can't argue with that.
It's such a tough back and forth, man. It really is.
Because the same morons that will sit here and talk about, that ESPN's hired are the same people behind the scene, and they're going, well, they're undefeated. And then you look at their schedule and they've played like all these just crap teams.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I see what you're saying, man. I guess I can be swayed because I wish we could do that. Why can't we play this independent schedule?
What are we? I think are we 2 years away from, it's not next year, I don't think, but I think it's 2027. I think Auburn's going up there. Who knows what that's going to be? I know that they've got Wisconsin on their schedule over the next couple of years. So I don't know. I have a hard time looking at them going schedule better because I don't know that I don't know if it does anything for you, man. I really don't. I don't know that I don't know if you're given any benefit to go schedule tougher games. And on the flip side, Miami schedules a team like Notre Dame, and they're almost left out even with the victory. It's it's an imperfect science, man.
That's a great point too. Like you got the same exact matrix, and they are angry that you made it and they didn't when you beat them.
I know.
Yeah, it's that to me is that's a problem. College football's got to just go ahead and expand it. Even though the debate is fun, when you're not left out, we got left out. 2022, Bama clearly was one of the best teams in the country. I think they'd have won the championship. They had Bryce Young at quarterback. They lost at LSU on a 2-point conversion, and I think it was in overtime, maybe or at the end of the game. And then they lost to Tennessee on a last-second field goal. And they were playing against the referees in that game. It was the dirtiest ref game I've ever seen in my life. But you look at the talent Bama had, but they got left out. You know what? They needed to figure out a way to win one of those other games that they didn't. LSU got to Atlanta to play Georgia. That's when the conference championship games actually meant something.
Yeah.
Because, you had to win to get in. Now they're meaningless. All they can do is hurt you. And, Bama was outside looking in. So they just went and pounded Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl. And then last year they were on the bubble, they were in this spot.
Yep.
And they got left out and it just hurts, but the same people aren't outraged. They weren't outraged for Alabama last year when SMU didn't move in the damn rankings.
Yep.
That's the point I'm making. Look, if you're going to be outraged last year, be outraged this year. But if you're not, then don't. But you can't have it both ways.
No,
There's just this hatred that people have for Alabama, Mike. It's because Alabama's just been pounding teams for so long.
They get tired of it. That's all it is. They get tired of it. It's oversaturation in their mind from Alabama. We've seen it, man. I don't need to see it anymore in their eyes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me tell you guys about Dee Snider, Twisted Sister. Firehouse, Lita Ford. They're going to be at Pearl River Resort, December 27th, 8 o'clock, Choctaw, Mississippi. Tickets available. Go watch the concert, slide over to the slots, hit the Timeout Sports Lounge, do it all over there. Mike, if you need some time off after, covering the Falcons and Bama, I'm going to get you hooked up with a room. All you got to do is let me know. You and Lindsay.
Yeah, man. I'm in. It's been a long season over here in the old bins.
you look a little defeated today. Look,
man,
pick up your spirits, Mike. Pick them up because Bama's going to Norman, Oklahoma, and I think they're going to win.
I do too, man. I really do. I like the matchup. Like I said, it's fun. It's funny yesterday, man. I'm sitting there and watching the Seahawks and the Falcons, and you got two guys down there that are rookies for the Seahawks. You got Jalen Milroe, and you got Robbie Oots, who is listed at 6'3", 270. I'm like, man, that's a fullback if I've ever seen one. Robbie Oots. That's what I'm talking about, baby. But no, I'm with you, man. I like the matchup with Oklahoma. You're not going to be doing any. You're not going to be done any favors when you're a lower seed and you're traveling for, a playoff opener and you have to play a higher seed. But as far as the path goes, man, I like the thought of us playing Oklahoma in the first round if we had to go on the road. I know it's going to be a raucous environment. I know it's a Friday game. I know that they've already put Fowler and Herbstreit on that call, so it's obviously a big SEC matchup these days. But when you look at the matchups, like I said, if you're going to be one of these seeds traveling on the road, then Bama gets kind of a fair draw in that aspect. I don't know how I feel about him matching up with Indiana after that, but if you're going to win a championship, you got to kind of go there anyway. So, I think that it's favorable to a degree when you look at the situation that you're in, and if you're really a good football team, go prove your worth. Go get a victory on the road, and that's a team that you should have beat this year, and you probably should have beat them last year too.
Yep. Got another shot at them. Hey, guys, Mick Nation, Avenue D, hit that QR code right there. We got swag. We got weekly cash prizes. Yeah, Mick Nation. That's our signal, and you guys know that. But it's all free, and it's a way to stay connected. That's our Web3 home. I want to ask you a question. As a guy that played in the SEC and won a championship, and you were a two-time All-American, but I also remember you being injured. How hard is it to come back from some of these injuries? Because that's what Bama's going to have to do for them to be able to play their best football, it feels like. Like, what goes on? Like, see, just kind of give me like the synopsis of all this.
Well, what's funny, Mick, is you may not know this about me, but I used to be a record holder at Alabama. Did you know this? Did you know I used to hold a record at the university? At one point when I was done playing, when it was the first time a team had ever gone 14-0, when 14 games seemed like a ridiculous amount, I held the record for most games played in the history of the University of Alabama football. Didn't last long because they ended up going to play 14 games multiple times in the years after that. the 12-game season, SC schedule, and then the playoff and all that. And so that record's been way shattered since then. But I got lucky. I mean, I got hurt in a bowl game in the Sugar Bowl, and that was a 6-week recovery for a high ankle, but we were done. I got hurt in spring ball one year. I got hurt against Vanderbilt at Nashville, probably my sophomore year, and that one sucked. But you know what? We taped it up. You get the injections and everything else that comes along with it. And obviously in the last 15, 20 years, medical science has come a long way. Now these guys get these tightrope procedures, or, Justin Herbert in the NFL this week has hand surgery last Monday and reportedly may play just a week later. So I don't know, man. It's tough because you get diagnosed, you immediately, I mean, the minute you get injured and you exit a game, Jeff Allen, who is still there, starts treatment. I mean, I got a high ankle sprain the first quarter of the Sugar Bowl. I was playing left tackle for Andre Smith. I am literally laying in the shower during the second quarter with my foot up on a table with ice on it, because it was like, rehab starts now, dude. You don't wait till you get home. Like rehab absolutely starts now, and we're going to go ahead and get on it. And so that's kind of the craziness behind it. And the minute you're allowed to start rehab, you start rehab, and it is from every angle, man. I had times at Alabama and in the NFL where it was 3 rehabs per day. One would be stretching, the other would be whatever, dry needling. The other one would be, the scraping tools, or they're trying to scrape away scar tissue and things like that. It's just,
wow,
it's nuts, man. But you can rest easy that we have the best people in the world when it comes to getting guys back on the field. And hopefully we can, get some of these guys pointing in the right direction here in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. How hard is it, with this stuff to get people ready? I mean, being able to play and being healthy enough to make a difference, though, to me seems like 2 different things.
Depends on the injury. Can it be, if the injury can't get any worse in the middle of a game, a lot of times there is an injection of some sort that's, a lidocaine or something along those lines, Toradol, to where they say, hey, it can't get any worse. Let's numb it up a little bit, and you go play with it, and then we'll address it afterwards. If it can get worse, if it's one of those things, it's like a calf strain or a pulled hamstring, that's when it's really, really tough, because we've seen it all over sports the last couple of years. You play with a calf strain, you might tear your Achilles.
Right.
It's happened numerous times in the last couple of years in the sports world. Same thing goes to a hamstring. You start running with a pulled hamstring, that might turn into a tear or a groin. So you have to approach all those situations differently. It used to be a high ankle sprain with 6 to 8 weeks. Now you can go do a tightrope procedure and possibly be back in 3, which is nuts. So, I wish there was a blanket answer to that, but there's just not. It just depends on the injury, depends on the pain tolerance of the player, depends on the position they play, and, what exactly the schedule is coming up. I think if you get a little downtime like they're going to have, then it's possibly easier. But if you have to go to practice or walkthroughs and things like that, then maybe that gets extended. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think it's a good point, man. Everything you said, and that's what Alabama's going to have to do. And when and I know it's different now, but just say the time between that last game and, bowl preparation, how do they give you time off? I mean, are you just watching more film? I'm just wondering how Alabama's going to approach getting these guys back out on the field that weren't ready to go.
It's a great question. So the way it used to happen with us is, if you didn't go to the SEC championship, hey, we're going to basically because you're going to have exams, right? You're into the semester exams are usually right after the SEC championship game, if I'm not mistaken. So you're going through all that process, and essentially they want to give you those days off, or Nick Saban always did. And they would say, hey, we'll practice, Friday and Saturday this week. And then the week 2 of bowl prep might be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or whatever. And then that starts ramping up, but you get plenty of time off, especially for exams and things like that. Now with them playing on the 19th, all that has to kind of ramp up. So I have no clue. I have absolutely zero insight into this, but I would guess that they probably have 2 practices this week and then go into full-time preparation next week like they would for any other game week. I think that with the injuries they have, you're looking at a situation where I don't know that you hit as much as you would normally. You get 2 practices this week, you flip the page, and then you get a jog on Sunday to kind of get prepped or whatever they do these days, and then get back at it full tilt boogie on Monday, kind of like you would a bye week, So we'll see what they do. I have absolutely no insight. I just know that that's the coaches that I've always had. It's like, hey, 1 or 2 things during the bye week to make sure we don't get out of sorts, and then we'll get back in at full tilt the following week and make sure that we're ramped up.
Yep. And we'll be getting full tilt next Monday, when man. We're kind of in game week, which it's a Friday game, which is really cool. And I want to remind everybody that we're going to be with the Tailgate Show at the Pie Factory in Jasper. Jake Coker and me, Mike, you're always invited. And maybe some other guests, but we're going to do the show from 5 to 7 at the home of our former colleague, Big Sexy Elmo. And I know, Mike, you didn't know Brett, but I'm going to play this just to remind everybody why we loved him so much.
They call him Big Sexy. coming at you from the Walker County. Jasper is his hometown. He's known for giving free rundowns. Oh, Big Saxon, throwing out those Alabama thoughts, sneaking out your mom's window without getting caught. Nick gives you the XP, but Big Elmo is here to please. Big Saxon Elmo on the Bama Tailgate Show.
Yes, man. I don't know if I'll ever love a friend as much as I loved him, man. It was like having Chris Farley in your corner every day. So we're going to go there for him.
Mick, I don't know nothing.
He died.
I don't know nothing about nothing. But I did just Google the Pie Factory in Jasper, and it looks sick.
Yeah. You'll love it.
A little double-decker deck, a little upstairs. Man, y'all are going to have a good time at that ordeal.
Yeah, we'll be there. So that'll be on December 18th, 5 to 7 when we do the tailgate show. All right, Mike, last thing, Kalshi.com. You know we're brought to you by Kalshi. And our promo code is Bama Tailgate, $10 when you sign up and you use our code and spend $100 to trade. And it's great. This is where all the action happens. I'm not going to ask you about the Heisman Trophy race. I'm not going to ask you about Lane Kiffin this week. But I am going to ask you a couple really interesting questions. And what I love about Kalshi is it's not just sports, it's politics, economics, Oscars, the Grammys, pop culture, all of that stuff. Sometimes, Mike, I think you're a little uncomfortable with these questions, but let me start with an easy one for you.
Only your weird conspiracy theory questions,
okay.
man.
All right, but this one is one of those.
Release of the space program and things like that.
Aliens. I asked Shank, and he says that they're not going to admit that there are aliens this year. All right, here's the question, though, for you. First one. Will President Donald Trump attend another football game this year?
In 2025?
In 2025.
I don't think so, man. That's a tough time crunch. What do we got? 18, 20 days left, 21 days left, something like that. No, but I think there's enough games in January where you could make that argument. So we'll see what happens.
But that would be next year.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the technicality. Yeah. I think we both agree that President Trump will end up at a football game. We just don't think that it's going to be this year. Because
we don't know the matchups, and we know that, look, politicians are all very, very calculated when it comes to where they're going to show up and what they're going to do. So get the right matchup in the right January game, then he'll be there.
Here's one. You're a guy that spends time around the NFL, and obviously Bad Bunny is going to be part of the Super Bowl halftime show. Who do you feel like will perform at the NFL championship? And I've got some people for you. Cardi B, Karol G.
Wait.
Do you know any of these people? Mark Anthony?
I know who Cardi B
Yankee.
is. I know who Cardi B is. Cardi B is, she dates a football player.
Does she?
A football player that might be
Ozuna?
in the...
Ozuna? Don Omar? I'll be honest with you, Mike. I don't know Ivy Queen, but she's got good odds.
Look,
Raul Alejandro.
I think Cardi B was in the box of Robert Kraft because she dates Stephon Diggs. Mm-hmm. And she was in his box when the Falcons played against the Patriots. So I'll go Cardi B in this one just because she's starting to get plugged into the inner circles. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I mean, don't we already know that Bad Bunny's doing it? I mean, is it a question of whether or not he gets canceled before then? Is that what we're dealing with?
Well, there was a lot of controversy when
Gotcha.
When his name was brought up as part of
I wasn't sure if it was in addition to or if it was just period. So, like, what if Bad Bunny and Cardi B both perform? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you have two winners, right?
Yeah, there you go. Everybody eats.
Yep. All right. Politics, sports, culture, crypto, climate, economics, mentions.
Companies. What do you got for sports right now? I'm curious what's in the sports realm.
Put it in here.
It seems like a lot of things have already been decided.
We got a lot of soccer in here. We got some NBA
World Cup stuff. What's in the soccer?
This is like kind of the Euro League.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
I can't dabble. Did you see where Trump pulled America and out of that that machine?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I
There's
don't
a
know
lot of
anything
people in
about it.
Atlanta paying attention to that, man. They're playing some of those games here.
Are they?
Yeah, the World Cup's coming, baby.
You know what? With that said, let me put World Cup in and see who the people think will win the 2026 World Cup. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Who do you think will win the World Cup?
Well, am I just going blind here? Let's put the
Well,
odds up.
you can.
What
Spain,
are we dabbling,
18%,
Kalshi?
France, 13%.
Look,
got
man.
England, hot.
Is it Argentina? I believe is the reigning champs, right? That's at 10%. Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal. That ship has sailed.
Germany's always one of these teams to keep an eye on. It seems like they just
I agree.
Tacticians.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. USA is all the way down there, eh? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I don't know. It's hard to ever discount Brazil in these situations.
Yeah, that's true.
That way.
Yeah.
So I'll go Brazil.
Yeah, 10% of the money on Brazil. And how much is being traded on this? I guarantee you. And I haven't seen this. I gotta go get back over here because I bet you it's just a ton of money. Some of these get, okay, so it's over $1 million. It's almost $2 million traded on this so far. Who would win the World Cup? But you guys can check it out for yourself. Kalshi's a lot of fun. Use our promo code Bama Tailgate and check it out. Mike, what do you got going on this week? What can we promote for you?
Man, look, I got all kinds of stuff. You can follow me on Twitter at MPJohnson79. I'm headed to Flowery Branch, Georgia tomorrow. Be a part of the afternoon show that's interviewing Raheem Morris. And then the Falcons play Thursday night football. Actually had NFL Films in the studio a little while ago, Mick. They're helping do the intro for Amazon Prime for Thursday night football this week. So a little B-roll footage in there. Might see me in this exact outfit on the Thursday night Prime intro. And then, man, all the above. Where I'm all over the place. I'm leaving the post game from Thursday night Atlanta Falcons football. We're doing a live radio show from a Publix on Friday morning up in Alpharetta, Georgia. So just follow along on the socials, man. It's a lot of fun.
That'll be great. All right, there he is, Mike Johnson. I'm Mick Gillespie, Bama Tailgate Show. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, get in the comments section. We're brought to you by Pearl River Resort in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll!
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.